Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Ludvig Åberg to the interview center. Ludvig, it's your first major championship. It's your first Masters. You secured a runner-up finish. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Could you give us your thoughts on the experience, please?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, playing here at Augusta National is a dream come true. Just to be in this situation and to feel the nerves and feel the pressure walking down the last couple holes is what you dream of. This is what I've been wanting to do for such a long time, and it's quite surreal to actually have the opportunity to experience it. But I'm so proud of me, myself, and all the people in my team and my family and everyone involved.
Thank you. We'll take questions in both English and Swedish. Yes, please.
Congratulations. Can you talk about, you're a competitor, you always want to do the best, and I guess in your mind you always expect to do the best, but how great a result is this for you? And don't be humble. What do you see in the future for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a competitor, you should expect those things from yourself, and that's the same with me. I felt like coming into this week, I felt like I was playing well and I was swinging the way I wanted to. And but you know, there's so much more to golf. There's a lot of things that needs to come together, and I felt like we did a lot of good stuff the last couple of weeks. We've been working on a few things, me and my team, my coaches, and it's nice to see that kind of come through on this stage, and to know that I'm able to pull off a certain amount of shots and hit the putts the way I wanted to, and it's just very encouraging, and I want to do it again and again, I think.
Can you talk a bit about what you see yourself doing in the future? What are your goals? What are your dreams?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, everyone in my position, they're going to want to be major champions. They're going to want to be world number ones, and it's the same for me. That's nothing different, and it's been that way ever since I picked up a golf club, and that hasn't changed. So I think I'm just, you know, this week solidifies that a lot of those things are there, and we just need to keep doing those things and put ourselves in the positions to win tournaments, I think.
John?
Ludvig, Scotty's kind of shown himself to be the best player in the world for quite some time now. Has he reached the stage, do you think, where his kind of mere presence on the leaderboard makes a difference to those around him? What did you feel like today?
I think maybe yes and no. It is, I mean, obviously Scotty is an unbelievable golf player, and I think we all expect him to be there when it comes down to the last couple of holes of a tournament, and he's proven it again and again, and I think, you know, he makes us better. He makes you want to beat him, obviously, and you know, that's the same for me and the same for everyone else in this field, I think.
You kind of did a better job than anyone else of kind of staying with him, if you like. But were you aware of it was him rather than just someone else?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I keep an eye on the leaderboard. Every time you see a leaderboard, you look at it. And I think it's important to know what's at stake and how you're standing and all these things. And trying to figure out, like, you know, what can you do on 15 and all these things. And that's the same for me. I've always been that way. It was like that in college too. And, you know, it just happens to be Scotty up there a lot.
Nick?
Ludvig, you double bogey 11, and then you come back with a solid tee-ball on 12, birdie 13, birdie 14. Could you describe how you were able to regroup? Like, what was the thought process there to, after that, what happened on 11 to then bounce back like you did?
Yeah, obviously, you know, it wasn't ideal to hit it in the water on 11. I think we all know that. But, I mean, I felt like me and my team, we've focused a lot on just keep playing, no matter what happens. I think if you just keep playing, skills are going to show up. And I think once you stop playing, that's when the skills are not showing up. And I think we did a great job of that. It was a good example of just keep playing, just make sure that keep the ball in front of you. And you know, there's a lot of holes left to be played. And I think me finishing well after those couple holes were pretty encouraging to see.
David?
Ludvig, anybody watching you today who maybe was not that familiar with you, they would have known you were a first-timer here at Augusta, and they would have been maybe taken aback, surprised at least, at how positively you played, how you seemed not to have any nerves. Was it the plan to kind of be positive, or was that just you?
I think I'm always trying to be positive. I think you know, this place has so many nuances to it, so many different subtle things on the greens and off the tee that I trust my caddy Joe a lot with, and he's helped me tremendously this week in terms of those things. But you know, we felt like we did a great job. It's a fine balance between being aggressive to the right spots and not being overly aggressive, because you can put yourself in some really tough, tricky spots. And I felt like we did a good job all week of making sure that at least you have a chance of getting up and down and all these things. And I allude a lot to my caddy Joe for that.
In front, please.
Hi, Ludvig. From a Swedish point of view, what would you say is the success that Scandinavian athletes are having in sports in general, not just in golf?
Yeah, I mean, I think Swedes and Scandinavians are doing quite well in sports, and we're quite similar in terms of our, you know, cultures. And Sweden, Denmark, Norway, Finland, we're quite similar, and I think we work pretty hard, and I guess we're just having some success in sports. Yeah.
Alex.
Obviously, everybody's going to look at what happened at 11 and say it was a mistake. Could you kind of talk us through what you and Joe were talking about in the second shot, and what were you trying to, obviously you were trying to keep it on the ground, but what were you trying to do with that shot?
Yeah, it was 190 meters, I think, a little bit into off the right. So I've been playing that same shot all week, where I basically aim just right at the right edge of the green and try to drive it or draw it in there. I tried to do the same thing today, and it came out a little bit, started just a little bit too far left, and the wind caught it and hit it in the water. It was probably one of the few swings this week where I really put it in the bad spot, where I knew I couldn't miss left, and I missed it left. But overall, I think a lot of the other things I did this week kind of oversees that one shot, I think.
Okay, and Peter Hansen said out there that he can't wait to see you in Kentucky for the PGA. Do you feel differently maybe going into a PGA now after having this under your belt than you would have if you hadn't had this experience?
I think so. I mean, this being my first major championship, you never really know what it's going to be like until you're there and experience it. And I think this week has given me a lot of experiences and a lot of lessons learned in terms of those things. And it makes me really hungry, and it makes me want to do it again and again, I think.
Andreas.
In English, if that's okay. Sorry, in Swedish.
Yes.
Kan meddela att det har varit Ludvig Åberg-hysteri hemma i Sverige nu under söndagskvällen in på efter midnatt här. Hur känns det att det har blivit sånt, eller att du har bidragit till det intresset där hemma?
Såklart superkul att höra alla svenska tillrop. Jag har till och med hört lite här ute på banan. Folk som hejar och folk som supportrar, och har fått en del sms under veckan också som pekar på samma sak. Så att, såklart jättekul att få känna allt stöd hemifrån, och förhoppningsvis så kan vi ge fler sådana söndagskvällar i framtiden.
And Eric.
Vad lär man sig om sig själv som spelare och person på Augusta Nationals bakre 9 under en söndag?
Det blir ju egentligen inte mer närvaro än så, tycker jag, utan fantastiskt kul att få vara i den situationen och få känna de nerverna. Och vi pratar mycket om det, att vad ska man säga, det är så kul att få lov att ha chansen att kunna göra det och få kunna köra de slagen som jag har gjort och visa upp dem på det sätt som jag gjorde. Så att jag tror jag har lärt mig så mycket denna veckan, framförallt runt grinerna, på green, in mot green, och ser fram emot att göra det igen.
Fokusmässigt, hur stor utmaning är det här?
Nej, absolut. Idag var vi lite snällare med lite mindre vind, men framförallt de första 2 dagarna var helt slut på kvällen när jag kom hem i huvudet, eftersom att det är en sån fin balans hela tiden mellan att vara aggressiv och vara på rätt sida flaggan och ge sig själv enklaste slag tillbaka, så att man kan inte riktigt slappna av. Det är inget riktigt hål man kan så här släppa ner garden lite grann, utan får hela tiden vara på fokus, men tyckte att vi gjorde ett ganska bra jobb med det denna veckan.
Ludvig, a couple of your Ryder Cup teammates this week have suggested that you're a future world #1. It's obviously not an easy thing to achieve without that expectation, but how do you feel when people like Rory McIlroy or Shane Lowry say these things about you?
Well, it's very flattering. It's very nice of them to say those things. They don't have to say those things. But I think, to me, it just tells me that we're doing some good things, me and my team, and we're probably not going to change a whole lot. But obviously hearing those things from Rory and those guys is very, very encouraging.
Nick.
Walking up 18, it looked like Max turned around and said something to you at one point. Would you mind sharing what he said? Maybe about like 200 yards off the tee or so? It looked like you guys kind of laughed at.
Oh, I can't really remember. I think we said something about the drives. I actually can't remember. It was something like that, I think.
Yes, Ludwig.
Yes, Eric.
Yes, you seem remarkably accepting of everything that happened to you today, the good and the bad, smiling and joking at times. But I'm just wondering, when you were walking off the 18th green, you appeared to be quite emotional. Did it just hit you then, what you'd achieved and what had happened during the day as you greeted your family and walked away?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously it's a challenge to play Augusta National, and like I said before, you can't really put your guard down. You got to stay focused all the time, and I think once you hold your last putt on 18, you can kind of breathe a little bit, I think, and that's what I did. And obviously coming up and seeing my family and my girlfriend and all these things coming up 18 was really cool.
Brian. In the back. Sorry, in the back there. No question? Yes.
Fortsätter ju att klättra på världsrankingen och spela in FedEx Cup-poäng och allt sånt. Hur mycket tittar du på det? Alltså att klättra där och så.
Jo, men det är klart det är väldigt uppmuntrande att se att man klättrar på rankingar och så här. Å andra sidan, jag tycker inte att det är det som driver mig, utan jag vill bara spela bra i tävlingar, komma så högt jag kan, och sen så blir det ju lite av en biprodukt av resultaten. Såklart så är ju målet att komma in i alla slutspelstävlingar och spela alla majors och så här, så att desto mer chanser jag ger mig själv att göra det, desto gladare blir jag.
Alex, please.
Ludwig, the media has the task of usually singling people out after successes like you've had today, even though you didn't win. Are you comfortable with being the guy that's going to be maybe A, the face of golf to some extent going forward, B, knowing that people are going to talk about you from now until the PGA Championship and being one of the favorites?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself the face of golf. Absolutely not. But obviously, I'm okay with all these things that comes with it. Obviously, my main focus is to play good golf, and all the media things that comes with it is not really up to me. All I try to do is make sure that for the next tournament that I come prepared, and I think the experience that I've had this week solidifies that we're doing a lot of good stuff and that we're not going to change a whole lot.
Ludvig, congratulations on your runner-up finish. Very impressive, and thank you for your time with us here today.
Thank you.